So to provision a Windows server on AWS, it's very straightforward, and this is the script I'm going to be writing to make that happen. Let me show you all my script. But the main script here is the Windows instance.tf. So this is what I'm trying to provision here. The first one is the key pair the resource key pair I'm going to be creating. The second resource is just the instance where I'm going to be installing Windows Server 2019, and the process I'm going to be taking to do that automatically. To do that, to automate the process, I'm going to explain that part to you. So the first resource here is the key pair, which is the SSH key pair. So I'm going to generate a SSH key using SSH, that's a keygen, SSH keygen. That's what I'm going to be using to create the key pair, the private key and the public key, so that I can be able to remote into this machine while doing that automatically. So the resource here is AWS key pair, my key, that is the key name, the name I'm going to be giving the key, and variable path to public key, that is the location where my public key is going to be, which is right in this folder. And I'm going to be showing you how to create my key, how to create that SSH key. So this variable is going to be pointing to the location of the public key. So that is all about that. So for the resource, AWS instance, win example, this can be any name that you like, that you want to give to your host. So the AMI variable, win AMIs. So this is going to be based on a free tier AMI, free tier Windows 2019 AMI. That's where I'm going to be pointing this variable to. So I'm based on the region I'm going to be using. I will show you the region I'm using. So the instance type is T2 micro, the free T2 micro. The key name here is AWS key name. This key that I'm going to be using on this device, on this instance, is going to be this very key. So I'm making reference to this key with this key, the name of the key, which is declared here. So I'm pointing to the public key. So I'm making reference to this key that I created here. I'm making reference to it here so that this instance can have access to it. So this is the PowerShell script that I'm going to be using to do deployment. Net user, variable instance username, and variable instance password. I'm going to pass in the username as a variable, the password as a variable. But the password, I'm going to be entering that from the CLI for security reasons. So you should also do that too. So I'm going to be adding the instance to the local group administrators with the name. That's what I'm going to be adding it with. And I'm going to be using Windows Remote Manager to do a quick config, setting the max memory for the PowerShell MB to be 300, maximum timeout to be 18.0.0.0.0, and I want to allow unencrypted connection. But you can decide in production, you can make it false. So when RM sets WinRM config service authentication as basic authentication, which is okay. So I'm going to be opening up the firewall on the Windows instance. I'm going to be opening it so that I can allow for WinRM to set up all this configuration. The same thing I'm going to be doing on this as well. I'm going to be opening up this port for on this port for WinRM, because WinRM can use any of the ports in the firewall to log into the Windows server. So once the execution is done, next should stop WinRM, and WinRM starts by automatically. Next start WinRM if it is needed to start with. So that is the PowerShell script. So that is the end of that. So I'm going to be using provisioner. Provisioner that I'm going to be using here, I'm going to be taking a particular script that is inside this directory, inside this folder. It's just a normal text file. It can be a Word document, it can be anything you want to push into the virtual machine. So and I want to push it to this destination on the virtual machine. I want to push it to the C drive on the server, on the Windows Server 2019. It can be any document, it can even be an executable.msi application that you want to push to the C drive on the server. And you can decide to even use provisioner to execute that script if it is a script, a bash script that you want to install applications with. So that as soon as this Windows Server is set up, then a provisioner can push a bash script to deploy particular applications you want to set up on the server. So I'm going to be using connection to connect connect to the server. I'm going to be using the type I'm going to be using WinRM connect Windows Remote Manager. That is the connection. There are so many connections. You can use SSH connection, but here I'm going to be using the WinRM connection, and I'm going to be using username and password that is declared in the vas.tf. So the vas.tf, this is what is in the vas.tf. So everything I've declared, the access key, the variable secret key, the AWS region, I want to set that up. It's going to be US West 2. The win AMI is going to be dependent on any of this region that I'm using. So the path to the key is in this directory. Path to private key is here, is my key. Path to public key is my key.pub. And instance username I want to use, I'm going to be using Terraform. I can decide to call it something else. You can just call it, you can even call it Terraform 1. You can change it to anything you want to. But this password is what I'm going to be entering at the CLI to be able to do this. So if you check through here, ls, to check all my scripts, this is the test file I'm talking about. It's just a normal test file that you can put anything. It can be any file you want to push to the host. So that is, I just threw something for there. So that is about that one. So which other file have I not explained about? The version is a normal version file for Terraform, the version for Terraform. So Terraform 12, I believe if you are downloading, if you are watching this now, you are going to be having 12.12 at 0.12.24 or above, or 28 above. That's what you are going to be using. So this script will work fine. So the provider.tf is just going to be stating that I'm going to provision this on AWS. I'm not provisioning it on Google. So that, I think that is clear, which is very fine. So what I need to do now is to do an SSH key. You do SSH key gen. So I can generate that key. Key gen minus F. I'll call this my key because I'm making reference to a key there. So I don't need a paraphrase. I'll be fine. So now I have a private key and I have a public key. So another thing that I need to put there is I need to create a Terraform vars, Terraform t.tf vars. That is where I'm going to have my access key, the secret access key, access ID and secret access key for AWS, so that this script can work directly with the AWS on the AWS platform. The API would authenticate using this access ID and secret access key, secret key, so which I've created on the AWS console while setting up my account on AWS. So I'm going to do that now, but I'm going to be, because it's a secret thing, I don't want to leave exposed to you. So I'm going to put it safe, then come back to the video. So here I have this guy. I have the Terraform TFVAS there for the Terraform access key. So the test.cx is there, the vars.tf. I show you the vars.tf, Windows instance. So that's just it. So what you need to do now is to do Terraform init. So it's downloading Terraform plugin, so which is the basic. Terraform init. So after Terraform init, you do your Terraform apply. So the setup will start. So let me pause this video for this to be ready. So after Terraform init, you do Terraform apply. So this is where you enter your password. You should do a relatively secure password. I don't think I want to show you my password at that junction, but I'll just put a password, something like that that is complex. You can do something like 1, 2, 3, 4 at this, something like that, something you can remember. You can call it Windows at 1. So I'm going to copy this password, save it somewhere, save it in Notepad. So I'll press enter. So the whole process will start. So when it's ready, I'll get back to you. Okay, the plan to first of all do a Terraform plan to tell you that it wants to spin up these resources, these two resources. The first resource is creating is the instance dot AWS instance dot win example created. So after that, it will create the key pair. So those are the two things it needs to create for you. So using this RSA, SHRSA. So if I enter yes, the process will start. So it's creating. So the deployment has completed. As you can see, two resources added. So one of the resources is the key pair, and the other resource is the AWS instance. So what I need to do now is to remote into the this particular virtual machine, the server, the Windows Server 2019. I'm going to be using remote desktop to do that. So I'm going to be using remote desktop. So remote desktop asks for my username. You need to do the same thing by entering the username. So for you need to enter the username. The username I'm going to be using is going to be Terraform. The computer IP address. I'm going to get the IP address of the server. I'm going to be getting it from AWS console. So I quickly want to do that. Here's the server I've just spin up. You can see Windows Server 2019 English full base 2020 full base edition. So that's it. And this is the public IP address. So I'm going to be putting this public IP address here. So to ask me for username, I'll still use the username I use in my script, which is Terraform. So, but for someone who's just joining or who's just watching this, look at verse.tf. So the username, instance username is Terraform. So this is the username it's requesting for. So I'm going to enter that username and I can click on connect. So it will try to locate the server. As soon as it's located the server, it will request for the password. So remember, this is the password we used. So you can click to remember me, then to start connecting. If the password is correct, it should connect. So let's hold on while we connect remotely to the server. Okay, very good. So we are good to go. Configuring remote session, securing remote connection. So what I'm expecting to see is the server, the desktop of the Windows Server 2019 I've just I've just set up using the automated script. And to do this better, if you don't want to go to the AWS console at all, you can use output. So output to get the IP, the public IP address of this device. So that will be displayed on your, that will be displayed here after the Terraform script. Okay, this the guy is ready. Sorry, the virtual machine is ready. The Windows server. So here's the Windows server, still setting up. So we give you some time to complete setup. Okay, so okay, personalized settings, setting up personalized settings, applying basic things that you see on your Windows Server 2019 on the first setup. Okay, we are good. So if you remember in my script, I sent in a particular, I sent in text.txt, a particular text file. So I want to check if the text will actually go into the C drive. So okay, it's ready now. So this is Windows Explorer, File Explorer. So in File Explorer, I'm going to look for the hard drive. I double click on the hard drive. I want to see if I can find my, okay, here's the file. I can remember when we started, I said I want to push this using provisioner. I want to push it to the, I want to push it to the new virtual machine that we're about to automate. So here is the file. And how did I do that? Let me minimize the server. I did that by doing this. I use provisioner to copy test.txt to C drive. And test.txt is somewhere here. So that makes it possible to be able to send directly into the virtual machine. So you can do the same thing by sending script to install applications onto the server if you want. So that's just it. Thank you. So once you are done with this, you can shut down this server, and if you don't want to do that, you can destroy the whole thing you have done by saying Terraform destroy. Instance password again, because that's a variable. So I'm going to put that here. So it will start shutting down the server. So here's the server. Let me see if it has started shutting it down. Okay, process has started. Let's see how long this will be on before it gets shut down. You can see the private IP address here. The public IP address and private IP address. If you go to your console, you see that it's still the same public IP address and private IP address that is displayed here. So that means we are on the right server. When this guy is ready, you are going to see, okay, you have to say yes. That is when it will start destroying all the resources it has created. So you can see this guy is shutting down itself. So if you go to console, AWS console, you refresh, to tell you that the instance is about to, it's shutting down, then it will terminate almost immediately. So that is the end of that.